Hello fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Mediocre Modeler, and believe it or not, it's been a month since Louisville, and so many things. It's like the country kind of opened back up for the summer and everything just went bleh. I mean, so starting the week before Louisville, we had the trip to Galveston, took the grandkids down to Galveston. Then the following week we were in Louisville. We did that. Then my buddy Mike got married. He and Diane had a nice, lovely wedding. That was the following weekend. Then we had the family project that had to get done, which I know you're at a model building. You're here to see models, but the model is go build something, and the family project is proof that building is building. Just as long as you're building, like I said, as long as you're building something. And so we got that done. Then you have the 4th of July. And that was followed up by immediately having to go to Chicago for work. And the upside of that is that I got to visit a couple of hobby shops. You know, if you have the opportunity to go to another town for whatever reason, find time to look up your hobby in that town. You never know what you're going to find. I found 2 great hobby shops, and there are many more, but getting around Chicago is a nightmare by car. But one of them was Des Plaines Hobbies, which just reminded me of a straight up old school hobby shop. There were model kits there that I'd only seen in magazines. Actually, both of them were that way. There were model kits there, old and new, that I had only seen, pictures of on the internet. The other one was called Out of Time. I'll look it up. I'll look up the name and I'll put it right there. Oh, this way, right there. Both of them were good hobby. I saw stuff there that I hadn't seen, but unfortunately I have a lot of the stuff that I already want, so I really didn't get to pick anything up. But I'm still glad I went. Another thing that, since it's been just run, I didn't get a chance to answer a couple of comments on the YouTube channel, so I want to go through real quick and do some of those before we get to model building, because that's a whole nother thing. So let's check on our comments. I'm starting off about 2 months ago, because this is still the Alphabet Squad secret base that they're asking, but David Glebes, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I don't know his last name, but he and I are connected on the random chatter in the Star Wars Legends. He's really knowledgeable on a lot of the Star Wars Legends stories. He's read them all, and we're going through them one by one. But he asks, what was that spray that you were using when you came back to the workbench and you were putting up the first site? What I think you were talking about is the Instacure. Instacure. So basically, because sometimes instant glue isn't fast enough. So basically, you put this on whatever, put your 2 pieces together, and then you spritz it with the Instacure, and it kicks it off immediately, and it makes it solid. And it helps a lot when you have 2 pieces that you just need locked together very quickly, and it's almost like a third hand. You can just kind of, and you're done, and you can let go of it. So it's a time saver. It also gives you, I use it, I didn't used to use it a lot, because when I first started model building, it was an extra expense, but you save so much time by being able to get your two pieces together, spritz it, have it cured instantly, move to the next, move to the next. So, Instacure. Incidentally, I need to do this in a different bottle because usually I have it sitting on the desk like that because I like using the squirt in as a dropper, and I'll move it around and eventually I'll knock it over. I'll usually buy it in this size bottle and then refill it. Probably 2/3 of this bottle gets spilled, so I always have to remember to screw the lid on. But the dropper, I'll figure that out. I always say that, but whatever. Anyway, so Nemo61, I am following your work and was impressed by Plastidip. Thank you for showing this information and waiting to see your final work. Greetings, sir. Well, thank you. Plastidip is something I'm just now really starting to play with. I discovered it in working on the foam armor, and I'm finding it works in a lot of different applications. What I was trying to do in the 3D application is have it fill in some of the gaps. Sometimes it works and sometimes it's not going to fill in like the big gaps that are in like these. They're not real big layer line, and for these I like the texture, but it helps to give that more uniform look to whatever you're working on. So, and you know, it comes in white, gray, it comes in, well, I only use white, gray, and black. So if it comes in any other colors, it's kind of like my primer layer too. So I'm still experimenting with plastic dip. I'm by no means a plastic dip expert, but I'm glad you were introduced to it. Fighting 28 Elf. Pew pew pew. Thank you for that. You're welcome. DIY Dump Rat was looking at the 3D printed Viper helmet model, and he says, "Hi bud, I actually commented on this video before as Iski. Love your work, smiley face. I recently started another channel, and this is his new channel, and I'm going to do this very Viper helmet build on it. I was just wondering, how does it fit you? Did you upscale it at all, or is this just printed directly from the file? I printed my first piece yesterday." Okay. And today I took it took it 30 hours. Wow. So want to be sure it will fit before I print anymore. Cheers. I apologize for the delay in this, getting your response to this, but no, I did not. As a matter of fact, that was the first 3D model I built, but I bought it off of from Instagram and had it printed and sent to me, and it wasn't cheap. I take that back. I had bought an early version of a 3D printer in the thoughts that I was going to do what you're doing and print the individual pieces, and I just couldn't get that printer to consistently print the piece. I got maybe 4 pieces in, and then there was a couple of vertical pieces that it just would not print. It would just get so far and then it would fall over, and I ended up taking that printer and returning it to the Micro Center. And surprisingly, you know, a year or two later, I turned around and bought one, and luckily the Creality has been nothing but wonderful for me. I have talked to a couple of my other buddies that have the Ender 3, and the leveling of it is a little bit better on the Ender, but the print quality, I think, is you know, apples to apples. I did not upscale it at all, and you kind of need that extra room in there, especially if for the electronics. And if you look at on the TV series, the helmet it's fairly big on their head. You want to see that room around your face. You don't want it to be too tight, because I think if you get it too tight, it starts to look more like a motorcycle helmet. It just doesn't feel right. That helmet feels right. Where it works for me, and what I'm finding is that I had some padding. I think the back of it, I had a pad from I think it was a kid's car seat or something like that, and it's just a thick cushiony pad, and I just stuck that in the back, and that kind of gave me my back projection. And I think I put a piece in the top, and it just works for that one. So, but there's enough room in there if you wanted to use something like I've seen people use hard hat inner rings or whatever to try. You're just going to have to play with it, but yes, print it 1-to-1 scale and you'll be fine. I think you'll be happy with it, and you'll appreciate the room that you have to be able to bring it tight to your head, as opposed to being just getting those helmets on is a chore. It's just they're just there, and then with the visor, they're kind of claustrophobic. But that Viper helmet, I think that's my #1 favorite helmet build right now. Okay. Thomas Mussings says, "Go build something. Great advice." I think so. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing with me. Okay, Elias Ripley, and he's looking at the M41A Aliens Pulse Rifle Part 1. What is it about mostly American YouTube channels where you feel the need to spend upwards of 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 minutes to actually do the thing advertised in the title described? We know what you're doing. It's in the title. Now, I appreciate that folks post these videos, but get on with it. Death in Monty Python, you say, "Always talk, you Americans." Get on with it. Moving on. Dude, just kidding. You know what? It's what we do. And I always go under the concept. I heard a long time ago that always assume, it's kind of like with comic books, assume that this comic book is the first time that someone's ever picked up that comic or whatever, and you kind of want to give them a little bit of background and just kind of feel it, you know. And a lot of this is me, because this is kind of uncomfortable for me a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know how to share it with you, and people tend to talk a little bit when they're trying to be comfortable with things. It's kind of like on when you listen to like a radio talk show and every person says, "Hey, how you doing?" "Fine, thank you." Well, you know, I feel the same way. Get on with it. Get on, answer the question, move along. And I think it's that sort of thing. But now that I know, then maybe I will get on with it a little bit quicker. So thank you for the advice. Okay, Garage Man Cave was watching the Alphabet Squad Secret Base number 6, and he says, "Totally digging the video, and you had to pop up Ness Lessman. The turkeys are hitting the pavement like sacks of wet cement." I'm glad somebody got the joke. Thank you. Okay. Eric Blythe, who actually runs the Random Chatter channel, he says, and he was watching the Wonderfest morning prep. "If a lint roller is the one thing you forgot, you win. Could have been much worse." Dude, I know. A lot of mental prep when I made 2 or 3 lists. I really just trying to make sure I got everything, because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss. even brought extra stuff. You know, the old adage, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. On a sidebar, like I said, Eric runs the Random Chatter network, and they have some good shows that you need to go check out if you are into Marvel or Star Wars, or they've got Movie Chatter where they go through and talk about different movies. So check them out, Random Chatter. Okay. Indie Arts Midwest was watching the Here's How It Went video, which is the video from Wonderfest after I had come back to the room and done cosplaying. LOL, that's what it's all about. I totally get why you like going every year. It's a blast. It's like I said, if you can find a convention that covers the thing that you do, go to it, because there's just nothing like being surrounded by your people. And being able to enjoy your hobby and seeing everything else that's going on with the hobby. It's very inspirational, as we shall see coming up here pretty quick. Okay. Rikuman was also watching the same video. Looking good, man. I love how the kit came out. Thank you. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that thing, and there was blood. There was definitely blood. Tears, more angst than anything, but yeah. So, thank you. I'm glad you liked the way it came out. Stuart Ward, another one of my good buddies. That's awesome. I'm loving your post this weekend. I wish I could have given you a little bit more than what I gave you, but you know, if you go back and watch those videos, you'll see why that didn't happen. Man, Here's How It Went got a lot of comments. Jack Mormon, awesome armor. Looking forward to the Battlestar Galactica. Well, hopefully you got to tune in and see how it came out on the next video. Talked to one of my buddies today and had another idea on a kind of Mandalorian Galactica helmet. Let's just say it's chrome. Looking at you, Tipsy Toaster. So, Corinne Huckalak, another person that is with us on the Random Chatter Network and is in the Star Wars Legends. Thank you for the updates. I wish I could be there. By the way, I love the cosplay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was so much fun. And see you on the channel. Okay, so going back a little bit to Paint, Lights, and Frack I'm Done, which is the Battlestar Galactica helmet. Okay. This is from Greg V8, and he says, if you want the bird, and we're talking about this guy here, and I was having some issues getting it to sit flat against the forehead. And so he says, if you want the bird to fit perfectly to the helmet, heat a pan of water to 130 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. If that's printed in PLA, not any high temp PLA. Then put on a pair of heavy-duty gloves so that your hands don't come in direct contact with the hot water. Put the bird in the water and let it sit there until it becomes pliable. Quickly pull it out from the water and press it onto the helmet, forming it to shape. It should hold the new shape after it's cool. Then you want to let it dry completely. Put it in a sealed box with fresh silicone gel. Desiccant should speed it up. Huh, okay. I do this with water heated at 200 degrees when I need to reshape urethane resin cast. Okay. Make a silicone mold off the distorted original, making a cast, straightening it, then make a new mold to make straight cast. Okay, good to know. I never would have thought to do that. I think at best I probably would have tried to use the heat gun on that, and I can kind of get the same result. There may be more Galactica helmets in my future, so I'll keep that in mind. And even that one, the corners of this are raised, and for that with the center mohawk, it works on that one, but I will definitely keep that in mind when it comes to any future builds. So thank you for that, Greg. Okay. Jason Rasco, your vlogs are great. Can't wait for you and Dan to get on camera. Keep up the good work. Jason, thank you very much. What he is referring to is my buddy Dan that you heard but did not get to see on the Louisville trip, who is also a good, very, very good model builder, does amazing things with dinosaurs. He and I are going to do we're going to do a comparison with the old Space 1999 Hawk and the round 2 new Hawk, the differences in size and everything, and we're just going to talk all things modeling in general. So Dan, you're on notice. So Will Ferrell was looking at Wonderfest 2021 Tales of the Trip Part 2, as was Jason. And Will Ferrell, Wonderfest sounds great. We don't have anything like that in Australia. Well, Will, I'm always saying go build something. If nothing else, you know, I'm sure you can find a group of fans that I'm sure you've got model builders down there and everything. You can get something started, and you will be the father of that creation. And if I ever find my way down to Australia, and the last one is from the Interstellar Modeler, and now Interstellar Modeler, if you looked at the other videos, there was the one video of the one model of the Battlestar, the Viper, in the launch tube. It's under like a plexiglass case. He actually built that, and I did not know that. I found that out after the fact, after Wonderfest, and so we are now connected on YouTube. But he just discovered your channel, and I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully we can meet in person at the next Wonderfest. You're on, buddy. You're on. We are going to, yeah, I will make sure that happens. Even just, like I said, just to sit down for an hour or whatever and just talk models and going over some of the stuff you've built, because if you get a chance, he's got a really good channel. He does some really good work. He's using the same kit, and he has it more for the Death Star attack, but he has the X-Wings on there, and he's got, like, he uses cotton as like explosions or smoke or whatever, and he's got it backlit, and it's just an amazing kit. And to be honest, I came up with my idea for this, and then I saw his idea for that, and I was just like, dang it! But it's not the same idea, and we're talking about model building. There's just so many avenues that you can go down. There's room for everything. So anyway, while we're talking about mailbags, I figured I could kind of slip in what I got in the mail as well. The thing about being a collector over time, you can collect things as they come out. And so go back to 1989 with the Batmobiles. I was collecting the Batmobiles as they came out. Not all of them were great. They were definitely all unique. And that those Batmobiles are no longer in my collection at the moment. But I was feeling a little bit nostalgic for one piece, and I don't know why, but we're talking about the '89 Batmobile with Michael Keaton. Specifically, we're talking about the Shield, or the Cocoon. Batman and Vicky Vale running from Joker's men. They jump out of the Batmobile because the street is blocked. As they're running away, Keaton lifts up his remote and says, "Shields." And Ertl actually came out, I do believe it was a mail away. It was only $1. If I remember correctly, it was probably in the Batmobile kit, and you got the cocoon. Now, it was only a vacuum-formed shell that went over the model kit, but it was still, for what I really, really enjoyed it, and I thought, hey, let's go out there and find one. And I found one, so I ordered it, and when I got it, I got a little bit more than I expected, in so much as I didn't just get it, I got it in the box it came in. So this is it, and I remember getting this. I might still have this box somewhere, but I got it just like it. Just seeing the white box just made me happy. I've never really been someone who was overly enamored by packaging, but for some reason this one struck me just the way a collective piece should strike you. Then I got to open it. It's been opened before. It's been out of the box for sure, but I don't think they took it out, they looked at it, and they put it back in the box, because this thing is in just perfect condition. Not a speck of dust on it. I mean, really, 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 really thin vacuum-formed shell, but I know it's a little thing, and it doesn't have the detail on the wheels where the ball was. But you know what? I don't care, because it works on two levels. One, it's a perfect display. It fits right over the model, and when you see it, you know what it is. And it acts pretty much like a dust cover for the model. The one I actually had two of these Batmobiles. The first one I had done in a gloss coat, and then the second one I did in a more of a matte, a semi-gloss. And so I use this to protect the gloss coat covered one. Oh, see? Yeah, okay. A little bit of, you can see a little bit of heat deformity right there from where it's been in the box. Something, it was pressed up against something and it started to form just a little bit. But I can live with that. That's the back. It's going to be on the shelf like that anyway. The other thing that I really like about this is it reminds me a lot of the Batman the Animated Series Batmobile. I really like that Batmobile. I'd like to find one of those. They never produced one of those as a model kit. So, but now that we have the 3D printer, I'm going to look and see if somebody has a 3D file for that. And I'm happy. But for the time being, so we don't get any damage, this is going back in the box. Well, kids, I think that brings us up to date. We are all caught up with everything, and we can actually start working on this monster. I am not going to let the week go by without getting another video out where we're actually working on this fella. And the thing about it is, you know what, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about when you put a model down and you come back to it, because that's a whole thing, trying to remember all the little intricacies and where you were, what you were doing, what your mindset was at the time. But until then, until we meet again, I want you to go out and I want you to build something. I'm gonna get back on it. You can get on it too. Send me pictures. Let me know what you're building. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell, like and subscribe. I am on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I'd like to see you there. So, until then, have fun, be safe, and go build something. I was finishing up, just dawned on me, I think I have one of these. Fuck! Pew 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 pew.